You know something? I make me laugh. And sometimes that's the only thing that matters. Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Hello, Kelly Abatol. Glad that you're here. So, Henny, good to see you. We're getting into that season where I can start wearing long sleeves. I was out watering the plants about 15 minutes ago, and I'll tell you, it is downright cold out. I require long pants and a long sleeve shirt. Look, even the cat is wanting the warmth. But I'm telling you. Well, Tammy, good to see you lurking. Glad that you're here. So today, if you saw the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about fear. And boy, oh boy, it's frightening the amount of time you could spend talking about the subject. But truthfully, this is one of those things that costs all of us in this game, right? Hello, Melbourne. Nick. I don't know what it is. There are certain names that just Nick. I like it. It's a good one. Welcome, Nick. Glad you're here from Melbourne, Australia. So, what is it about fear and addiction that seems to go hand in hand? Well, apparently, a lot of people. That apparently kid is going to mess me up for the rest of my life. For most of us, fear of unknown is one of the most dangerous things in the world. And it's something that you got to learn to embrace if you're going to make it. And I'm not telling you I'm any good at this, by the way. Not very good at this. But there are things that we really, really got to work on as people in recovery, or life is just going to suck. One of the first fears that crippled me, morning, Peckerwood. One of the first things that crippled me when I got sober was fear of relapse. As a heroin addict, as a person whose drug of choice was an opiate, I got sick when I didn't have drugs. So it wasn't just a matter of, really wanting to get high or whatever. I would be violently and viciously sick. The fear of that withdrawal kept me high for 3 decades, which is terrible, right? But it's the truth. The fear of the withdrawal, the process of kicking, that fear was so overwhelming that I would put off going without at all costs, to the point where I robbed banks to get the money. This became all encompassing. That fear was the driving force in my life, in everything that I did. And even before, so I got blackballed as a public speaker, right? But prior to that, when I was working as a public speaker and I was making a ton of money, I was still terrified of not having dope. I was terrified that I was going to get found out. I was afraid that, not because people wouldn't respect me or any of that crap. I didn't care about any of that. But if people found out that I was on it, they were going to try to make me quit. They had sent me to rehab before. They had done interventions before. I was terrified of getting found out. I was terrified of all of the things. Now, truthfully, like up until I got blackballed speaking, the guy that I spoke for knew I was on dope. He used to have somebody travel with it to make sure that I had it. But even with everybody sort of on board, that was the overwhelming and overarching fear that drove my life for decades. Once I got sober, I was so accustomed to walking around with that fear at all times that my body didn't know what to do without it. I'm not being funny. It is something that I think addicts who had physical dependency, this is something that we share. As you get sober, I just shifted that fear to fear of relapse. And it became the same thing. And in the beginning, I had a very difficult time. First of all, I didn't enjoy sobriety in the beginning because that fear that any day I was going to screw up. It was just a matter of time before this crap was back in my system. I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to pull it off. And the automatic negative thoughts in the beginning were vicious. But that fear all day, every day. Hello, Annie O'Halloran. Good to see you. Annie O'Halloran. Sounds like Central Casting. She says, good morning. I seen you on Aaron Levin's live and found you very something. Well, that was very interesting. And I'm checking in today. I think for the first or second time, I like the title. Okay, good. So my fear of relapse became something that was an everyday thing. I am so accustomed after 30 some odd years of doing dope to living with that fear constantly. Yeah, the longer you do drugs, the longer it takes to get off. Well, there's definitely something to be said for that. I definitely am struggling with. I mean, the symptom wasn't too tough, honestly. Now, in hindsight, getting off heroin was not that difficult. Fear of being dope sick, hanging on, and for a lot of others, they can be clean for a few years and relapse due to that same fear. It's the truth. And Megan Hawkins, that is a people. If you don't, I got to put this up there, and Russ will probably get a kick out of this. But so that's a Purple Heart, and God bless you for your service. The Purple Heart is probably the stamp that they used for the longest period of time while I was incarcerated. They sold the forever stamp that just had that symbol on it for so long that basically that was currency in the federal system. And I knew so many people that that tattooed a stamp with a purple. Yeah. But seeing that symbol again just gave me a flashback. The other one, well, thank you, James, and it's good to have you here. Thank you for your service. The other stamp that we used to see all of the time, I mean, and I do mean all of the time, was the Liberty Bell. Toward the end of my sentence, it was so bad that they would refer to cash as bells. How much is it? 20 bells. It was actually pretty bad. Good morning, Tommy. I hope you have a wonderful day today. I just wanted to say hi to you and everybody before I head to work. Well, Twisted Sister Paranormal, please have a safe day at work. So this overarching and overwhelming fear had just become such a part of my life that my brain was always searching out something new to be terrified about while I got sober. And especially in the first early days of my sobriety, fear of change is something that everybody is going to struggle with anyway. And I was going from a life that was absolutely awful, right? But made a crap load of sense to me. And I know that that's stupid. And to say it out loud just sounds, stupid. But there was this, for the longest time, the specter of spending the rest of my life either incarcerated or in some kind of an institution. When I hit the tipping point, right, when I got stabbed and all of that went on, and I got thrown into solitary for the first time on planet Earth, I was more afraid of where I was in life than of whatever the change was going to be. That for me was rock bottom, where the position I was at right then and right there was so freaking awful that whatever was going to come, it couldn't have been worse. There's something liberating in that. There really is. It was almost like I hit the wall on fear. I've told the story in here before, but I got stabbed, and like 7 days later was my birthday, and that was when I got the Dear Tommy letter from the woman that I was married to at the time, saying, you know what, there's a million things that I would like to say to you, but I'm just going to go with I want a divorce. All of this happened while I was in solitary, and I was in a kind of solitary that few inmates ever have to deal with. There was nobody that was allowed to walk in front of my cell. So I wasn't even allowed an inmate who would sweep up walking by. And that's how you communicate, and that's how you get dope, and all of those things. It's all passed by whoever the guy sweeping up is. But there was none of that. And I was in there just so afraid of what the future might hold. Poor Johnny has asthma. Do you know that? Speaking of which, it's his inhaler. Had it on my desk. It's probably not the best place for it, since he sounds like he's having one of those mornings. All right. So Fear of change is something that keeps us rooted in place. You know what, Russ? I believe this. If you missed last night's interview that I did with Russ, shame on you. Get back there and watch it. It's heavy, but it's a beautiful thing, and it's watching somebody work through stuff in front of a group of people that he's come to trust. That's beautiful, man. That really is. It's absolutely beautiful. I kind of like that. As a guy that's hopped out of a plane or two. She says, Tommy, I call that place free falling, where you have no idea where you will land. I think that there's CK. Thank you. I do feel better. I'm not sleeping right yet. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still really struggling with the sleep thing, but I'm doing what I need to do to get it worked out. I'm talking to people about this and trying to work through it. So I'm going to get to a point where this dream goes away. It has done this to me since 2013. It comes in waves. People on the boat have been through this with me before, but I will, it'll start again. This is Jeremy Shelton's a fool. Good one, Jeremy. Well played. He says, whenever I'm in fear, I think of one thing, the one thing that could never possibly hurt anyone. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And if you're unaware of that reference, once again, shame on you. Good stuff. Good stuff. So as we get sober and we start doing this journey thing, the fear of facing our emotions is something that is going to be a reality if you take this thing seriously. And not everybody does. I mean, you can keep that real. This is like, sobriety is like religion. It's like exercise. It's like anything else. There are people who do varying degrees of everything in life, right? You got the guy that does yoga once every 3 months and, sort of dips his toe into the thing. Sobriety is the same way. I know people who have managed to stop using and have no idea why they were using in the first place, and they're never going to get there because they're not going to go down that road. They're not trying to face the things that really messed them up, and delving into their emotions and facing that is something that the vast majority of people aren't going to do. There's a reason that the 12-step programs worked well. And one of them is because the way that it is structured absolutely forces you to peel the onion, whether you want to or not. If you're going to work those 12 steps, you're going to peel that onion. And I don't beat the piss out of people around here about stuff like that. Maybe I should, maybe we should be, maybe that should be the, but I'm not trying to push people. What I'm trying to do is tell you that there's a better way. And the fact is that you're going to have to design your own sobriety plan, regardless of what it is, whether it's 12 steps, whether it's here, whether it's anywhere else. You're going to design your own plan no matter what anybody tells you. Well, I just do the 12 steps. You're still doing them your way. I promise you, it's going to be unique to you, different than anybody else that ever did it. No matter what structure you choose to go down, that's going to be a reality. And you're going to have to face the emotions, or you're just dipping your toe in and it's never going to be quite what you want it to be. I'm sorry to hear that, Kelly Gerling. Kelly says, ever since my hubby has been working out of town from Monday through Friday, I can't sleep well. Plus, I seem to be so anxious and fearful, even during the daytime, even though he would be gone working anyway. Well, Kelly, this is probably the best time in the world to not isolate. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to everybody. But start doing what you can to not to make sure that you're trying to stay in contact with people, because this is going to be hard. You're isolating just by nature of the fact that your significant other is not there, and that's going to be tough. 12 steps is a me program, not a we program. Interesting, KP Nordic. I think that there's probably some truth to that, but I've never heard it put that way. Substance use sometimes serves as a way to avoid or numb emotions. In sobriety, individuals may fear facing and managing these emotions without the crutch of substances, which can be overwhelming and uncomfortable. And I promise you, needs to happen if you're going to live a comfortable life. 4 would be the fear of stigma and judgment. There might be fear of social judgment or even stigma associated with admitting struggles with addiction, seeking help, or living a sober life. This fear can be a barrier to seeking support or being open about the recovery journey. We talk about this one a lot, of the fear of judgment and stigma. You have a Johnny Scoville Navage Assistance Fund. It's been set up by Seventh. He's always good for that. The Johnny Scoville's Navage Assistant Fund, which he calls the NAF. And if anyone else is wanting that, yes. Fortunately, you can swap back and forth with the Navage. You just have to pay for the little salt. What do you call it? Put it in there and. Thank you, Seventh. We're gonna get that work done. Kelly Gerling, Christy says, Kelly, my husband is gone most of the year working. I know how that can be. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. That's a beautiful thing, and that is the lifeboat in a nutshell right there. Right? It's what makes us unique. It's what makes you guys freaking awesome. Oh, Tammy C, I'm so sorry. She says, I have a knot in my stomach for a couple of days. The only time this happens is before I get news about my son who is in active addiction, an alcohol addiction. No, don't worry about a long message. Tammy, please be silly. And I'm sorry to hear that. I know that I did this to my mother. Because I've talked to her about it, over the time since getting sober. But I did this to my mom, and it's a horrible thing. My thoughts and prayers are with anyone who has a child in this world right now. It scares the hell out of me every single day. It really does. Susie Q says, fear is gripping me right now because I'm looking for a job, selling my condo, and moving out of state. I'm second, third, and fourth guessing. Every possible choice in my mind is spinning. Well, saying that out loud should help. True story. It really should. Now, if it were me, Susie Q, when I start second, third, and fourth guessing myself, I usually seek outside help, right? If I'm that much in my dome, then I need to start talking to friends of mine, even about the smallest things. I remember packing and just needing somebody there to go, throw that out. Why are you moving this halfway across the country? Throw that out. Because I couldn't do it. It sounds silly, but sometimes you just need somebody there when you're not firing on all cylinders. Go figure. Connection is my advice. Comes up a lot, this whole connection thing. I think there might be something to this, Johnny. Jeremy Shelton says, have you received any sponsorship deals from Ace Hardware? The Tommy Abort button is growing more famous the longer Johnny sticks around.
That's great.
That is pretty good. If you didn't catch that reference, I used a bucket yesterday from Ace, because Ace is the place with the friendly hurl bucket. And yes, if I should be sponsored. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? Nick. With the Nick. I got nothing. I've been watching your videos from years the start, and I have started to watch the video of you interviewing your son. How's he doing? Hope all is well. It's funny that you say that, because Calhoun is coming on here this week. We're going to be doing a how is he doing kind of a video. He is just past the 10-month mark. Just past 10 months of sobriety. So he's doing fantastic. And I thank you for asking. But yes, Banks is doing great. And he should be on here this week, which I'm looking forward to. I really enjoy having him on. Super, super proud of him. So the stigma and judgment thing, I think the thing that jumps off the page when we start talking about stigma, and it is something that is gaining traction, people on the planet are starting to talk about how much addicts are stigmatized and how it is, not beneficial. And that's great. I think that that's we scream about that all the time. From the very first day, it was something that I beat the drum about. There's no reason at all for somebody to feel any kind of guilt for being born with this disease. No, the things that we do on it, we're going to feel guilty about. Once you come to the realization that nobody in their right mind does the things that we do, and that there is a drug that is calling the shots. I'm fond of saying that I made the decision to do that first injection. And then that first injection made every other decision that happened for about the next 3 decades. And that really is the truth of how it went down for me. And I don't have a problem coming here and saying that. I don't feel any stigma. I don't feel any kind of judgment or anything like that. What's hard for me is when I'm not getting it done and I have to say, you know what, I need help. That's the stigma for me. One of the most impressive things in the world was Russ coming on last night and doing what he did. That took huevos, right? Because of what the subject matter was. That just took balls. And I don't think it would have happened in another environment. The lifeboat is a really unique place, and it's everybody here has the personalities that have all come together here. Mad respect to the original sort of the founding members, I guess, of the lifeboat who really started this no judgment thing. I didn't start beating that drum really until it became something that was so evident here that it needed to be patted on the back. But yeah, it's even with all of the acceptance, it is so difficult for a guy to say I need help. It's just not really, it's not hardwired into how we were, at least people of my era. I know that things are really different now. Kelly, I could not have said this better myself. Last night's show with Russ was definitely something special. So happy he was able to talk about it. Me too. V, I hope that all goes well with a new friend. I've got a whole set of fears for that we can go over. I'm kidding, but I'm not. But because that's a huge thing. That's a huge one in life. Well, Christy, you've made a huge impact on the lifeboat. So we're really, really pleased that you're here. Christy says that the lifeboat has made such an impact in my life, and I'm so thankful for all of you. I am too. I am so thankful for all of you. And V, if you found somebody that's not judgmental, hold on to them. It's a rare thing. It really is. It is a rare, rare thing. See, how cool is this? Russ says, you're right. I wouldn't have done it anywhere else. So thankful to everyone. That is a beautiful thing. KP Nordic, I think every bit of sobriety is going to be like that, right? You have to work. If you put, and I say this all the time, but if you really need to be, you really need to put you as the most important thing in your sobriety. That needs to be huge. If anything comes before you or comes before your sobriety, then you're just going to relapse and you're just going to keep doing it. And for me, in my particular walk, the sobriety thing has to come before anything else. Everything else hinges on it. Once I start doing dope, I lose everything. So God and family and friends and all of that goes right out the window with the first shot. I promise you, literally the first one. It's not like, I mean, I won't be addicted for 4 or 5 more days or whatever, but that first one will get me. It's just how it always is. Betty Zoom, I am so sorry. Betty Zoom says, I lost my hubby to the needle drug myself. I could watch. He didn't want me to help. He was a wonderful hubby before he fell. Miss him a lot. I'm so sorry. I really am. I'm so sorry. It's every single day, right? It is every single day. And, we, I don't think we've heard anything official on Matthew Perry, have we? No. They did say that he had a lot of medication in his house, and a lot of it was anti-anxiety medication. And normally, when they talk about that, they're talking about, Xanax and things of that nature. It's interesting, Annie. Annie O'Halloran says, I went with my father to a couple of AA meetings. His friends became our family friends, and that was nice. But I also failed to see the anonymity in all of it. So that put a bad spin on it for me. You know what? It's, yeah, I really love I love the anonymity that is provided uh, by the big red button. I mean, people can come here. I have had people that have said to me, I came in, I left, I created a new account so that people wouldn't know who I was, and I came back. And that's fantastic. You can do it, you can do whatever you want. Matthew was in recovery. I watched a great interview that he did with somebody, and I mean, he definitely was saying all of the right things. He had gone through and definitely he was working a program. It didn't sound at all like lip service. It sounded like he was really deep into it. Um, V, I have not heard an official statement. Was that I really just I just hope that it's not that it doesn't come back to that. But I guess it doesn't much matter, does it? At the end of the day, when someone's gone, they're gone. And he says, I may not be smart. Yeah, me either. And he, please, but I get that. But I never understood the saying, you have nothing to fear but fear itself. I cope with fear. I just never understood what that meant. I think what I get out of that is that more often than not, and this is absolutely the case in my life 99 out of 100 times, whatever I'm fearing is this big. But I allow the fear to get so much bigger that it's all encompassing. I've told this story a lot on the lifeboat. It seems funny now. It wasn't when it happened, but when I started doing the lifeboat, I was on federal probation still from my time in the federal prison system, and I got a letter that had been mailed to my house, and I got it on a Friday. And the mail in Nevada, we used to get the mail truck would come through at about 4:30 or 5, right? And so it's the end of the day. There's no getting a hold of anybody, and this is it, right? It's the end of the work week until Monday. So I bust open a letter, and it says, you need to come down to the adult parole and probation, and you need to do it Monday morning. Do not pass go, right? Like this is just a really short, to the point, get your butt in here kind of letter. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the hell could I possibly have done to make these people upset with me? You know what I mean? Like I had made all my meetings. I had paid all of my bills. Do you have any idea what I turned that into by Sunday? Right? By Saturday afternoon, I was sure they were revoking me and I was going back to prison. Like that's where my head was. Now I hadn't done a damn thing wrong, right? Seriously, hadn't done anything that I could get in trouble for. But by Saturday afternoon, I was convincing myself that there was a crime I must have not been charged for from the previous time. And it was snowballing viciously out of control until the point where on Monday morning, I'm standing on the steps of the courthouse waiting for the probation to open at 9:00. And you got to go through the metal detectors and do all of that stuff like you're going to court, because you peel off to the left, right? Everything else is federal court, but right before that is the probation office. So I go through all of the hubbub of taking off the, the belt and the shoes and all of it, only to find out they weren't there yet. So 6 minutes after 9, they showed up. But those 6 minutes were excruciating. And I'm telling you, I took time off of my life. And when I came in, I said to the person, hey, I got this thing in the mail and, all weekend. And she said, oh, yeah, twice a year, you need to fill out a survey for what they call PLRA, right? Which is just this program it's the Prisoner Rape Litigation Act, right? And it's asking you if anybody has treated you poorly since leaving prison, kind of a thing. And I just looked at them like, this is what you mailed me a letter to come in for? I had nothing to fear, but the fear of what I was afraid of, what I built it up in my head, almost killed me. And I did shows. I came back that day and I did a show on the lifeboat. And I said, you know what? Why do we always default to the worst possible case scenario? How come nobody ever gets that letter and goes, you know what, man? I bet they're going to kick me off. I bet I'm going to go in there and they're going to say, you did everything so damn right, Tommy. Here's $500. Go home. You're not on probation anymore. All right. My head doesn't go there. Nobody's head goes there because that's not how we're built, sadly. As drug addicts, I promise you that's not how it's built. Goddess Divine says, my dome definitely blows things hugely out of proportion. The ants, if you're new here, that's automatic negative thoughts, do some serious marching through my brain. Goddess Divine, I get it. And I think that's what they mean by we have nothing to fear but fear itself. If we face the actual problem, if we just, cut to it. If I could have got that letter, say Friday at 2:30, right? And I called my probation officer and said, hey, I just got a letter. You want me down there for something? He could have gone, yeah, it's a stupid PLRA thing. You just got to do it twice a year. No big deal. I would have changed my weekend. It really would have changed my weekend. And here's the thing. How much of the crap that we do to ourselves when we're stressed like that, how much of that do we get back out? I don't have any idea. I mean, truthfully, I don't. I know that I went to I once went to somebody for a massage, and I get massages every time I have an opportunity. Like it's something that I am very, very into. But this was a massage where somebody walks on you, right? Like literally walks on you, does that crack, crack, crack. And when you watch it happen, you think that person's going to break somebody's back. This can't be healthy. But I remember the person saying to me, oh man, you got stuff in there from, the 80s. And I giggle, but I wonder how much of that is true. I'm getting really back into doing a lot of yoga, and to get back into the poses that I used to do easily, it's really, really different. And it's because I have allowed so much of that negative, just sort of pent up stuff that turns muscle to rope, and just gets you really uncomfortable. And I believe all of this stuff starts with fear. I really believe that. Plant Freak, that's so cool. And you know what? You're not alone. We actually have, we're now getting a pretty big contingent of military spouses here. I think you're the fourth that I know of. So Plant Freak says, if it wasn't for the lifeboat every morning now, I would have my fear taking me over. Automatic negative thoughts of what world events mean as a military spouse. You know what? To everyone in the military and around the world, that thoughts and prayers with all of them. And I'm so glad that you're here. I really am. And who jumps to mind is Snotface, and not just because I like saying Snotface, but I do. Also a military spouse, and I know this has got to be a very, very tough time for everyone. Unpredictable Tony says, I'm a Navy brat. There's Snotface. What's one mean, y'all? We're not allowed to tell you, Kelly. 2 more weeks, and then we will tell you. It's just one of those things. You got to be here for a certain period of time. The one means, for me, it means I'm praying for you. For other people, it means they're sending positive energy. For others, it means that they're just giving you a virtual hug. But it's our way of kind of reaching a hand out when we can't reach a hand out. You know what I mean? It's our virtual love, so to speak. Snotface, glad you're here. Good to see ya. Yeah, VIK. For anybody who has a spouse in the military, it's got to be a very, very difficult thing. Truthfully, something that I can't imagine, but I love the fact that you're all here for one another. So number 5 is fear of uncertainty. Well, good luck wrangling those animals, Snotface. Thank you, Kelly. It's it worked out. I don't remember how the one started either. Like so many things here, I don't remember how it started. Somebody started it and it took off, and it's people have been doing it ever since. They've done it a really long time, really long time. So, fear of uncertainty, the entering this new life, right? Kicking off this whole sobriety thing, um, can bring uncertainty about our future. This fear might involve concerns about the ability to maintain sobriety, maintain life's challenges, or build a fulfilling and stable future without the reliance on substances. This is another one that was really hard for me. I hit a different kind of sobriety wall, and I know a lot of people go through this. I got to a point where I was making money, like all of the things that had been a stressor for me in my life were over. Like I had a place to live. I was super happy with. I was making money in a business that I owned. I didn't have a boss. I was cool with the people at at parole and probation. There was nothing in my life that should give me any pause. Like everything was perfect, and the fear of everything being perfect was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I just didn't understand how to do it at all. And this may sound really stupid, people, but one of the driving fears in all of our lives comes from the fact that we don't have a damn clue how to do anything that resembles be successful. Right? I can't. I mean, I was never any good at it. I spent my entire life failing. And to have an excuse to cover the failure so that I wasn't stupid, I was lazy or whatever, I had this great drug problem that I could blame just about everything on. I mean, yeah, I got C's, but I was doing bong hits at 8 a.m. before school. What were you doing? Like really from all the way back to the very early days, my drugs were an excuse for my failure. And it was a good one. Like, even when I worked as a public speaker, I was very successful in doing it. I made a lot of money, but I know I could have made way more. I know I could have been a much better employee. There was a lot of things that I did that drove people insane. But I always had the excuse. The drug thing really was a huge thing in my life, and excuses were a huge thing in my life. But the starting this journey off and now having to say, you know what, I have no idea what I'm walking into. Right? This for me is why this is so necessary, right? The lifeboat and sitting in this chair and talking about what's going on in my life every single day to a huge crowd of people is what keeps me sober. I mean, it's a big part of my sobriety because I don't have a clue what tomorrow is going to bring, and that requires a different approach to life. It requires a completely different approach to life. And this is something that I'm playing by ear as I go, right? Same here, Captain. Picked up my friends every morning and got wasted on the way to school. Yeah, Rick, that was standard operating procedure when I was in high school. Just getting stoned on the way to school was something that we did every day. And with all kinds of stuff. There was a period of time, no joke, where there was a guy in my school who had a car that was an older brother's, and he actually managed to get this thing running. It was a Falcon. It had no interior at all, so he screwed chairs onto a wooden structure that he had put down there. So I'm not kidding you. Like when you rode around in this car, you were on folding chairs. And he tried setting a card table up in it. It was just, school was a great place to meet, to get high. Sadly, that's what high school became for me. And, you find yourself 46 years old, still getting stoned and hanging out in the back of the room. Right. Same life. Just being the wise ass cracking jokes and not getting anything done, except I'd been doing that for so damn long that I had no idea where to go. I think that happens to a lot of people. But I think that the greatest gift that you can, if you can pull this off, And I don't know that everybody can, but learning to embrace that moment of fear, that at the top of the roller coaster right before you plunge. And this may sound silly, but I'm not kidding you. When I do working out or when I meditate or whatever, quiet time. This is something that I spend more time on than anything else. Trying to literally embrace the not knowing. That for me has become part of the buzz of life. Right? I don't get stoned. I don't get high. I spent the vast majority of my time on this planet trying to change how I feel. Right? 46 years. I spent trying to change how I feel. Now I have to live the rest of my life trying not to change how I feel. Very unusual concept. Okay. A little bit scary. So I went a different route. And for me, the uncertainty is the buzz. The not knowing what exactly tomorrow is going to bring is huge. Did I just hear first anniversary, Valerie? Valerie, is that the 1 year anniversary of sobriety? Could that be? That's huge. It's absolutely huge. You know what? Whatever you're celebrating a year of, congratulations. And if that's a year of sobriety, good for you, Valerie. That is the official participation trophy of the lifeboat. James says, love it. The older I get, the more I like uncertainty. I don't know that I love it yet, James, but I do like the feeling, and I'm learning to ride that. It's on Wednesday, 1 year of sobriety on Wednesday. Well, we will have to make a damn big deal out of that, won't we, Valerie? Good for you. You hear that, Johnny?
True.
A year on Wednesday, 365 days. It is a big damn deal. That is a huge one. That's a milestone. I love when people come here and celebrate their victories. I love it when you pump your fist in the air and say, I'm proud of what I've done. The world doesn't like it when we get proud of what we've done. I mean it. They don't, right? Family and friends, they would love to congratulate you on your sobriety as long as there's no one else around to hear you, right? Your friend would always skip school and pretend to be Abe Froman, the sausage king of Chicago. I know your friend. I know the man of which you speak. Smart guy, but dumb enough to believe that if you put a car in reverse, it was somehow going to make the odometer go backwards. I mean, really? I can suspend disbelief as much as the next guy, but that one was just awful. Oh, man. That is so foul. Tommy, remember the throat spray chloroseptic? He says, I think, and it would be correct because the commercial was. Can you help me? Septic. Yeah, that was it. The guys used to fill it with Kool-Aid and vodka in school. I know a guy that did that with Windex. He had a Windex bottle in his locker. And I said to him, what is that? And he's like, I keep booze in it. I said, and you don't think they're going to think a bottle of Windex in your locker is an odd thing to have in there? Like, who keeps Windex in their locker?
Took it to class with him.
Yeah, took it to class with him. Just vicious. You got to have a serious drinking problem to do that. And I had a friend, like I could probably say his name because I don't think he's still with us. But you remember Teen Wolf?
Sure
Klopp? Yeah. Well, I had a friend that he inherited a ludicrous amount of money his senior year in high school, right? A ludicrous amount, and just became. Just imagine, at your worst, if somebody just gave you all the money in the world and no more supervision at 17, because that's what they did. He went out and bought a bunch of cars, and like he bought a brand new Jaguar, removed the engine and put a 350 in it, and then promptly rolled it into the police station, literally, like ran right into the police station. But anyway, I remember him in first period, and I had a teacher named Carla Kilmartin. Lovely woman, Carla Kilmartin. She taught Latin. I actually liked that class. But He came in one morning and she said to him, Bob, you smell like you've been drinking, and I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. I'm just telling you what it smells like. Maybe it was breakfast or, a mouthwash or something, but there's this scent about you. What did you have for breakfast? And he said, gin. And he said it with just the worst attitude problem in the world, but money destroyed him really quickly. You can't give a drug addict that kind of money in high school. It just doesn't work out.
You saw that to a bunch of people.
20 years, 1 month, and 16 days sober from alcohol. But who's counting? Congratulations, man. 20 years. Wow.
I know, right?
No, for real. That is the decades. Golf X-Ray. That's huge, man. That is huge.
I'm proud.
Yeah. Wow, man. What? Yeah, I'm so happy with 8. Joe, Joe, I think you're coming in from the night before, aren't you, brother? You're still awake. Joe works hard. Good to see you, Joe. I was always told that we come into this world wearing diapers and we leave wearing diapers. It's the in-between that matters. Yes, well, that is one way of putting it. 20 years, right, Maggie? Maggie May says 20 years. I think everybody kind of feels the same way. D. Audrey Gore says 20 years. Yeah, that's just huge, man. That really is. And it's the hope to everybody else that's doing this. It's the reason that this works. It's the reason that people like to get together. It's because when you hear somebody, you go, oh, man. Right? Take what I've done, double it. That's heavy duty to me, man. It says what is possible. Thank you, Seventh Son. He says 46 likes with 69 in chat. We can do better than that. Much better. Don't mess with Seventh. The man will come to your home and tell you dad jokes until you tap out. You are a rock star. I don't think there's any doubt. Betty Zoom, I agree. Betty Zoom says, congrats. Addictions are so hard to override, but it can be done with faith, love, and hope. I agree. And I think that a really decent amount of all of them. It's super important to lead with love in everything that we do. And it doesn't happen enough. But boy, if it happens in sobriety, good things seem to happen. Did he drive at ludicrous speed? Every reference to that film makes me giggle on account of the fact that, hold on one second. Wow, that sounds pretty heavy. Yeah, so Spaceballs, the Druish princess from Spaceballs, is a graduate from the same high school that my brother and I went to. Yeah, true story. So I remember when it came out, it was like watching, there was a big deal because of that. And I think we probably watched it more than other films, but that movie cracked me up. Oh, my Lord. Golf says, was self-medicating for pain and an undiagnosed debilitating disease, a fifth a day, legal troubles, etc. And well, if I can do it, anyone can. Never give up. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, people. It's the same individual who just said 20 plus years, right? Deeming 9, because Deeming 7 somehow is no longer here. I can't find it. But I watched a show last night basically about the Carter family. One scene, the CEO looking out the window and watching all of the people who OD fall down like rain. It was a powerful scene. Millions. Yeah, if you have a link to that, please send it to me at sober@myyahoo.com. Sober@myyahoo.com. Anybody that has that link, I'd like to see that. That would be good stuff. Good for you, Zelda. Zelda says, I just got through 2 months plus the C word and pneumonia and sinus infection, but feeling pretty good today. If you don't know, if I say that word, right? The one that we locked down the whole country over, this video will be buried like that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? This video will have a sticker put on the side of the box and they will shoot it to the back of the warehouse, never to be seen again. Apparently, they don't like that word, Johnny.
They're worried about that.
Don't know what it is. Apparently, there was a bunch of arguing that went on. People weren't getting along about it, so been that kind of a deal. They went plaid. They did. It's it's a good guess on your part, and that was Sheldon. Do you know that all is good in the world? Thank you. That's a very kind thing to say. He says, been watching a while, found you through growing up in Scientology. You do good work. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel sometimes like I'm just inviting all of you to my sobriety, but you know what? It's working and it's keeping me sober, and I've made a lot of fantastic friends. Yadi says, hello, Captain Tommy. You've captivated me. Well, that's a nice thing to say. With all your smart words that have been so nice and inspiring others daily, you're greatly appreciated. What a very cool thing to say. Thank you very much. I love your name, by the way. You were self-medicating for nightmares and other personal stuff that came back haunting me, brother. 20 years is an inspiring milestone. I'm almost 5 years now. Good for you, James. Good for you. I'm working on that migraine. I mean, on that nightmare thing right now. I am struggling like a big dog with the nightmare thing. Just really having a problem with it. But I'm doing all that I can, which is I guess which is all you can do, right? I can't remember the series. It's a combo of Edgar Allan Poe and that family. But one scene that should be seen by everyone on the planet. It's called Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. I know the story Fall of the House of Usher, but I would maybe I could check it out if it's on Netflix. That's a really good story about a dude and his sister. It's creepy as hell. I loved Poe. I read a lot of his stuff. Russ, you have a good day too, man. How many years are you, Tommy? I celebrated my 8th year free of heroin on the 27th of June. 8 years. Oh, well, that's awesome to hear. Plant Freak said it took a couple of weeks, took a few weeks, but here I am. That's awesome to hear. And you know what, people? It's the beauty of the anonymity here is really that there's some anonymity here, and you do have the opportunity to come here and start sharing about some things from the past. That really does help. I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of eternal space were it not that I have bad dreams. I like it. I like it. I'm trying to remember where it's from because I know it's from. I think it's from. Sound really familiar to you, Johnny?
Vaguely.
Vaguely? I think one of my most memorable childhood scenes was from the movie Airplane. She's shaking up. She's shaking up. I do remember that, actually. Very funny film. Yadi says, I know we've been going through a bad week for many of us, and I know my people. A little encouragement goes a long way. Yadi, I can assume that your people are in Israel, and my heart and my prayers are with all of them. I love the people of Israel, and yeah, it's my thoughts and prayers are with all of them. And that was before I said that. I assure you, it's a thing for me. It's from Hamlet. There you go. Infinite space. You didn't screw it up. I am a huge fan of Shakespeare. So, I mean, a huge fan. I don't know what it was. You know how in high school when everybody just hated Shakespeare, I was the one that didn't. I just thought Shakespeare was the bomb. And then in college, I really kind of fell in love. Yeah, pretty big fan of everything the Bard did, or as I like to call him, just Bill. Drives my daughter insane when I do that. When I refer to him as Bill or Billy, she gets really, really angry. Says, "You don't know the man. You can't speak of him like that." And I say, "Oh, but I do." You know what, people? Pretty much brings us to the top of the hour. I mean, to be really honest, I'm cheating you out of 3 minutes. But the reason is Squirrel is still lying here looking like a cat should at the end of the video. Don't. That was the reason. She's been known to bail in the last. Up there goes the yawn. She has about a 1 hour window. She's so well trained that she knows there's a TREAT because she's been in the basket this entire time. So right about that 1 hour mark, she's already kind of
Getting ready for it.
Getting ready to do the like the cartoons. I want everybody to have a great day. Kelly, thank you. He says, peace and love to everyone. Thank you. Get some breakfast and take care of all hugs. Lay back down, Squirrel. See, I told you. She's. Is that where you were handing me that back?
Yeah.
I'm Tommy Scoville, and this is from A Cat in a Basket. No, I'm from Puerto Rico. You guys are my people, and I'm checking up on all of you. I'm a never-end non-addict just supporting the community. Well, God bless you.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's really cool. And I'm jealous. Puerto Rico's beautiful. You've been to Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, Johnny was just talking about Puerto Rico yesterday.
Mofongo.
I'm sorry?
You heard me. I said it clearly last night.
Did you hear him? He's doing it again.
It's good stuff.
The mofongo?
Oh, mofongo.
Mofongo.
Delicious.
Just sounds it. Doesn't it? Doesn't it just evoke that?
It is so good.
Apparently he says it's good. And if Johnny Scoville says that something tastes good or is not hot,
well, you have to believe me.
You can take that to the...
I have an impeccable record.
Yeah, you could take that to the...
Where
something.
Take stuff like that.
Gizmo says meow. Did you hear that, Squirrel? Gizmo gave you a what's up meow. Would you like to clean your tail? No? All right, everybody. That's a wrap. I will see you on the next one. And remember, we probably have something to fear. But if you come here and talk about it, it's going to feel like it's a little bit less of that impending thing hanging over you, right? Don't take it and hold it inside. It never works. I promise you it doesn't. Joe, please be safe today. Good to see you again. And you couldn't watch the egg video? Well, can you go and pretend to watch it? That's how we pay the rent around this campus. I had to eat that foul thing. I'm kidding. Have a great day, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy. Bye-bye.